Okay, everybody, welcome back to the show. Great to be here on our first Cabral HouseCall of the weekend, just opening up the document from the community. As always, have to give my team a shout out. They do such an amazing job putting a new podcast, new video, new audio on the website every single day. Sometimes updating it with new resources at stephencabral.com/resources for all of our community favorites and so much more. So once again, thank you to all of you for tuning into the show, making the Cabral concept possible. And on these weekend shows, I do my best to try to give back, answer as many questions as I can Saturdays and Sundays from our community. If you want to ask your own, head on over to stephencabral.com/askcabral. All right, let's dive right in. Just open up the document. First question is from Trish. Let's see what Trish has to say. Hi, Dr. Cabral. I'm a 55-year-old female working on lowering overall inflammation in my body. My CRP levels are 4.1, ApoB 118, lipoprotein 281. As you can see, they are high. Total cholesterol 221. Triglycerides are 70. I have a lot of stiffness and joint discomfort. I started taking 2 proteolytic enzymes upon waking, then your DNS, D3K2, Cell Boost, Inflammasoothe, Collagen with GLP tone system, and some of your other products, I and here, and follow the Mediterranean diet. My pain and stiffness have improved a lot in a matter of days. I'm going to retest my CRP and cholesterol in 4 months. My question is, how long can I take the proteolytic enzymes? And in your opinion, am I taking the proper protocol for these issues? I'm retesting in 4 months. Thank you in advance. Okay, so amazing job, Trish. I mean, feeling improvements in just a couple days is phenomenal, and that isn't always the case. Sometimes it takes weeks, right? But the goal is, like, we have people on a protocol like this for a minimum of 12 to 16 weeks, minimum. And that's because I was talking about this on, what show was it? I think it was just yesterday's show. We were talking about hemoglobin A1C and research. And if you want to improve your overall blood sugar levels, your overall sugar, you really need to give it a 12 to 16 week plan. And that's because your cell membranes of all the cells in your body, those red blood cells that are going to take in some of the glucose or from the liver cells and muscle cells, you need to give them 90 to 120 days. You really do. That's just how long it takes. That's why hemoglobin A1C is a 90-day average of your blood sugar. So here's what I want you to do. I can't give you medical advice, medical treatment plans, medical cures, medical diagnosis. That goes for anybody on listening to this show. But I would use a program just like the one that you're doing right now. CRP, besides what you're doing, I would also include a 12 to 16 hour fast, intermittent fast. I would start it around 5 or 6 at night, earlier the better. And then I would break it around 9 to 10 in the morning. It could be 8 to 10 in the morning. And then you'll still do your 3 meals, right? You get in at least 30 grams of fiber a day. I would put in 1 heaping scoop of organic psyllium husk into the daily nutritional support. And I would do another one late afternoon or at dinner. I don't want to give too many other recommendations besides that because you may not need more, right? The goal is always to do as much as you can, not with more. And you're doing great. I also use proteolytic enzymes now every day. I may stop in the future. They help to thin the blood, but right now I'm on a low dose. And so I do that for overall heart health as well. So, you're not taking daily omega-3 support. So I can't recommend that enough. That's a top 4 product. Daily omega-3 support, 2 grams a day. So again, I can't give you personalized advice. I've never seen any of your labs. You gave me 4 numbers here. So what I would say is, if you can, obviously try to run the big 5 with Equilife for underlying root causes. If not, you'll rerun your bloods in 4 months, use the omega-3s, and away you go. All right, we'll check back in 4 months, Trish. Sheena's up next. Sheena says, hi, Dr. Cabral. Hope you and all of your health family are well. Thank you, Sheena. You too. I'm a surgical professor and I'm on my feet all day. I've tried all kinds of compression socks, but by the end of the day, after taking it off, my legs are so itchy. I scratch it sometimes so bad they start to bleed. I'm only wearing the average 15 to 20s. Oh God, yeah, absolutely. And they're not too tight. That would be my next question. So first 2 questions are, what degree of compression are you wearing? And the second is, do you have the right size so that they're not too small? I'm curious if you have a recommendation for compression socks that won't cause itchiness, but it is effective. Thanks in advance for answering. Okay. So yes, there's like 5 things we can do. The first one is you make sure they're the right fit, so they're not too tight. The second is that you make sure there's not too much compression. You always start with lower. So you've already done that. Great. You're a surgical professor. I know you know what you're doing. Got it. So now we need to look at, okay, are you wearing latex ones? If you're wearing latex, look for organic cotton. That would be my highest recommendation, because latex is a little weird with your legs sweating. Remember, we all perspire a little bit. So, and even like if you're not running, doing like that. So the latex is not the best at, absorbing that moisture. So that could be causing fungal-based issues, bacterial-based issues on your legs. I don't know that that's the case, but certainly possible. You're wearing them all day. So if it is the case, and this would even be fine as a moisturizer and an antimicrobial and an antibacterial and an antifungal, is to, well, you can put on a little apple cider vinegar, but don't start there, because that acts as a toner. I would just put on coconut oil before or after the day, not a thick coat, just a little bit. And that will actually moisturize your legs and act as an antimicrobial. Now, if it feels kind of greasy, because it is kind of greasy, then maybe you don't want to do that. Maybe you wipe it off before bed, but you at least put some on. It's a little bit of a moisturizer. The other thing is, besides, you try variations, right? So you don't do all of these things. You try the organic cotton first. Then you can try the coconut oil, or you try a moisturizer instead of the coconut oil, and look for hypoallergenic. Those would be my initial recommendations. Yeah, those are my initial ones. Right back in if those don't give the fix. I think that they probably will out of one of those, but right back in if not. All right, Christina's up next. Christina says, Stephen, I've listened on one of your podcasts about rheumatoid arthritis and detoxing. My mother is in her early 70s and her fingers are twisting. I am 48 and recently the base of my thumbs have started bothering me. My question is, what detox protocol should my mother start with to prevent further twisting of her fingers, and what detox protocol should I do to prevent this from happening to me? I would love to do the heavy metals and organic acids test, but unfortunately I live in New York. Would my functional medicine doctor be able to order them for me? I've had HELP, HUS, DIC, Guillain-Barré, pulmonary edema in my pregnancy at 21. My son was delivered with no issues. At this time, we have learned that I have ITTP. I've had IBS issues. Thank you, Christina. Okay, so a couple things at work here. Let's start with the overall. I'm putting this in air quotes, Dr. Raw Detox, which I just prefer to call the Equal Life Detox. It's the Equal Life formulated functional medicine detox. That started over 15 years ago in my practice with people with autoimmune issues, specifically rheumatoid arthritis. And it worked so well after 21 days, and it got such great results. That is actually how I built my practice, because people got ridiculous results. And again, by the way, I'm not trying to sell that to anybody. The product's guaranteed to work. You can just return it if it doesn't work, literally. And I hope that people do, because my goal is to get people results. I'm not trying to sell anything, but we need to do things as humans in order to move the needle forward. And then I saw, oh, it's helping people with inflammation. It's helping people lose weight a healthy way. It's helping them with meal timing. It's helping them balance their hormones and improve sleep. It just did so many things. It's like, well, I can only see 40 people a week. And I know it's a lot of people, but I can only see 40 people a week. Okay. Well, in the grand scheme of things, that's like, I could see usually 1,600 to 2,000 people a year. And then I had an amazing team, and we saw 20,000 people a year. Well, I set a goal for myself, like, I'm not opening any more clinics. Like, believe me, it's hard work. Like, yes, I know that there's harder work in the world. I totally get it. But caring for 20,000 people in a year with 2 clinics, overseeing, 30 different employees, front desk, all of those things, that's a lot. I mean, that was 80-hour weeks, and I was burning myself out. Having said that, I love the work. It was amazing. And I said, and I still continue it today. It's just in a virtual-based practice. And all of that, by the way, because some people don't know this, it's all over at Equalife. You just go to stephencabral.com/shop, just takes you over to Equalife. And what I wanted to share with you, though, is that the goal was to help, if we could, 20,000 people a day. And so that's what we do now with the podcast, right? The goal is to reach more than 20,000 people a day, and we do. And we help hundreds of thousands of people a year with the detox. All that to say is that it works. Again, I can't provide any medical advice, medical treatments, medical cures, medical diagnosis. Now, whenever anybody's in their 70s, what we want to do is start it gentler. So they do a 21-day detox, but they don't do the fasting days to start. They just start with days 3 through 7, and they follow that meal plan. Shake, plant-based lunch, shake, whole food, paleo-style dinner. That's it. So they just do that, because we don't want any major Herxheimer reactions. We don't know the strength of their body. We don't know a lot of the things. And of course, they can get medical clearance from the medical doctor if they'd like as well. With someone that's 48 and younger, you can do a 21-day detox with the fasting days. And it is remarkable. Again, if you have any contraindications, if you need to talk with your doctor, please do. I'm not giving medical advice. I've not seen any of your labs. If I were you, Christina, and I was literally talking to my wife, one of my sister-in-laws, like family, I would say, run the big 5. If you can't run them because you're in New York, I understand. Work with a functional medicine doctor if you want there. work with an integrative health practitioner that might have an in-person practice where they can order the labs. That's what I would do. If not, like you just, like, and again, I don't want to be, you're looking for needles in a haystack, and so you want to test. And if you can't, then you will work the whole roadmap, and you'll be able to find that in my podcast. I literally give you the roadmap of, okay, we're going to do 21-day detox. We're going to do a parasite protocol. We're going to do CBO protocol. Then we're going to do CBO finisher. And at the same time, we're going to be doing heavy metal detox. Like, we're going to work the whole protocol because you're not able to run the labs, and that's okay. Like, you can just work the system. Takes a little longer, but at the end, you're a healthy human. And so it's a good thing to do as well. All right. So feel free to ask follow-up questions at cabralsupportgroup.com. Happy to help. Ryan's up next. Ryan says, hi, Dr. Wall. I'm a 29-year-old male who has Addison's disease, chronic postnasal drip, food intolerances, and teeth grinding. A stool test confirmed I have Klebsiella. I also have Blastocystis hominis, as well as some yeast and fungal overgrowth, no bifidobacteria, and lactobacillus detected. I recently started the CBO protocol with citruside drops in 7 days until I came across one of your videos where you mentioned you should do the parasite first. Should I stop the CBO protocol and start the parasupport and then continue the CBO after, or just do the CBO? Thank you for your time and best wishes, Ryan. Okay, so yeah, happy to help with all this. But this is why I really recommend, and I'm not coming down you, Ryan, work with one of the Equal Life coaches on my team, or work with an integrative health practitioner. If you don't want to work with my team, totally understand. My job is to provide the information. But you can go to integrativehealthpractitioner.org and work with any of the level 2 or level 3 coaches there, health coaches. They're certified to do this. They can run your labs and then give you the right protocols. And we are not a part of their practices. They run their own show. I have nothing to do with them. I teach them the protocols and how to read the labs. They then take it on their own. Why do I mention this? Because if you're working with an integrative health practitioner level 2 or 3, or an Equal Life coach, and they saw your stool test, they would have directed you to do the parasupport protocol, and then the citricidal drops and CBO protocol, and then finishing with the CBO finisher. They would have guided you through that and said, okay, parasite protocol, parasupport protocol is 8 weeks. Then after that, CBO protocol 12 weeks, and then you're going to kind of move on with your life, and you're going to do the CBO protocol. It's 8 weeks. It's only 2 products, and you're going to be good. And like what to use as an adjunct as well to support your detox systems. Because they also would have told you to do at least a 7-day detox to start to open up your liver and kidney detox pathways before you start massive detoxification. Okay. So it's my public service announcement to say, there is a best way of doing things. And if you're able to, that's the best way of doing things. Why do I even bring this up to you? Because you can order the labs at stephencabral.com/shop, and it includes a consultation. And most IHPs do the same. So like, that's my highest recommendation. All right. You get the consultation anyways, just run it through Equal Life. Anyway, so that's my plea. You can run it with anybody you want, but it's my plea that you get the right plan. So, because you can do the right, here's the thing, not for 10 years. So I didn't meet natural health practitioners until about 2 years into my healing protocol. But I was doing a lot of the things that my mentor, Dr. Pete, told me, who eventually I met with Dr. Pete and she got me well in 6 months. Well, I was doing a lot of things that she told me to do, but I did them out of order. I didn't do them at the same time. And so I didn't get results. Right? You can't do the CBO finisher before you do the CBO protocol. You're still going to have inflammation. You're still going to have leaky gut. So there's a way to do these things that work best. All right. All right. One more question for today. I know we're way up on our time, but I want to get in one more. So Kay says, hi, Dr. Brawl. I love your podcast and I look forward to them every week. Thank you, Kay. Appreciate that. I was wondering if you could please explain how a traumatic event could spur the onset of a disease such as asthma. My daughter's asthma began shortly after her father and I were separated and he moved out of state. According to her pediatrician, at the time, she was more prone to having asthma because she also had eczema. This was 2 decades ago, and now she's 31. And we know more about autoimmune issues. Although she continues to carry an inhaler with her, she hardly needs it to use it anymore. What would you recommend for a more root cause approach to someone with her condition? Thank you. Yeah, so I actually talk about this in the rain barrel effect. So if you haven't read the Rain Barrel Effect, I'm going to keep saying this over and over for the next couple of months. Read it now if you can. It's free. Literally, I pay to print the book. It's a little over $7 to print it. It's about $7 to ship it. You just pay for shipping at stephencabral.com/free book. Why do I want you to read it? And also, if you purchase it, I think you get a copy of the audiobook too. Anyway, here's why. Because I'm hoping to publish my next book in early next year or December, January. That's my hope. I'm not saying that I can get it done. I'm busy like everybody else is busy, but I want to. That's my goal. So I still have to finish writing it, but it's getting close. And Inside the rain barrel effect, I'm not going to be teaching a lot of those things in the next book. I'll hope people have read the rain barrel effect. But in the rain barrel effect, I talk about something called the neuroendoimmune system. And what happens is your nervous system gets thrown off. This is what triggers disease, almost all disease. Nervous system is affected. What is that affected by? Stress, inflammation, could be virus, could be heavy metals, could be gut-based, could be mold, could be emotional stress, like in this case, okay? But there might have been other preceding factors that filled up the rain barrel. But then the nervous system affects the endo, right? Neuroendo. What is that? The adrenals, the thyroid, etc. That can produce a fight or flight based response. Then it affects the immune system. How? Usually moves it harder in one of two directions, typically somewhat genetically predisposed. Th1 moves you to autoimmune, or in your daughter's case, moves you to Th2, like myself. Th2, allergies, asthma, skin rashes, hives, headaches, multiple chemical sensitivities, etc. So the trigger event that I talk about in the rain barrel effect was the separation. And life is hard. That's all I can say is life is hard, right? And so what happened though, as a child, you internalize that, you can't figure it out, you don't understand. And that then creates this imbalance in the immune system. Now, we can't go back 20 years, but what we can do is fix what's out of alignment right now. There's most likely gut issues. There's most likely adrenal issues. Run the Big Five. Best thing anyone can ever do is run the Big Five labs. Looks at all your hormones, looks at all your gut dysfunction, your vitamin levels, your mineral levels, inflammation, heavy metals. So it's all at stephencabral.com/big and the number 5. Again, you don't have to run it with the Equilife team, but I can't recommend it enough because one, you're basically getting the labs at cost, and it includes a 90-minute consultation, read your labs, and a full wellness plan as well. So I can't recommend it enough, but everybody should make the best choice that they believe works for them. Some people want to dive right into the protocols. I respect that. Some people want to piece different things together. I respect that. I try to do that for years though. Very difficult to make that work. All right. I wish you all the best. I'll be back tomorrow with a brand new Cabral HouseCall. Take care. Thanks so much for tuning into today's show. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I want to make sure that you're getting our daily content, not missing out on anything functional medicine, wellness, weight gain, weight loss, anti-aging, living longer, stronger, and all of the most cutting-edge research. And if there's any topics you want to hear, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Take care.